Alright guys, you'll notice we're in a very different location today. I'm in my car. I've just pulled up at my local butcher's and I thought while I'm picking up some supplies for the next few videos, I might go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a preview. So I'll go ahead and hop out and I'll give you some footage inside. Alright, I didn't end up doing too much filming inside because it got a bit busy and it's a fairly small space. But I've got two big old bags of stuff, so I'll get that home and I'll open it up and give you guys a bit of a preview of what's coming in the near future. All right, we are home, we are sat outside, and we're going to go through some of the stuff we've picked up today. Now, I will go ahead and start out by saying that a lot of you probably will have come from either Joe's or Emma's channels, so you'll know that they are heading off away on a bit of a long weekend this weekend away. So some of what I've picked up today, rather than being for videos for our channel, is actually going to be a couple things that I'm going to prepare for them to take away with them. So kind of doing my first takeaway here. But what we've got today from the butchers, we have pork bellies, and those are bone-in pork bellies. Always good from there. It's the same stuff that I use to make the pork candy, and yeah, never go wrong. I have also picked up some minted lamb skewers for those two to take away. Some of the pork belly is going to be for them to take away. Some of that I'm going to keep here for me to use. So that'll be a bit of each. I know that was a request by Emma, was more pork bellies. I have also picked up a couple thick cut pork steaks. Now, I've not touched steaks yet on the channel. I've got a couple sirloins in the fridge that I'm planning on doing in a video. I might throw these in there in the same video and do a couple different kinds of steaks to show you some different ideas there. What else have we got here? All right, very basic one, but something that I know is very common for a lot of people barbecuing. So I thought it's worth a discussion about to show how I do them and how it might be a little different than how you do them. I've got 3 different kinds of sausages. These are also a favorite of my grandkids, so I can't go wrong with that one. So I've got pork and tomato, pork and chorizo, one of my personal favorites, and traditional pork sausages. I know that they're a very quick and easy thing to do on the grill, and I just want to show that there are a couple tips that don't make them any harder to do, but can add that little extra bit to the flavor of them. All right, from there, I picked up this one, and a couple of these, unfortunately, there's been a bit of a run on my local butchers in the last couple of days with the weather, so they were short-handed on a couple things. I was not able to get a unseasoned pork joint. They had already seasoned all of them up, but here I have a seasoned pork joint from the butchers, all ready for pulled pork. So I might throw that in there at some point and show you a more traditional version of a pulled pork as opposed to the gammon one that I've already done. Now then, I've also been asked by Joanne and Emma to get them a chicken to take away with them. Now, unfortunately, again, the butcher was out of whole chickens. It's a popular item, what can I say? So what I did was I got 2 pre-seasoned half chickens for them. I got a spicy and a barbecue. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to add a bit of my own flair on top of the normal sauce. And yeah, spice them up a bit for them. add a little bit of extra. I also picked up, and yes, you'll think this is a barbecue channel and it's Cajun stuff, and what am I doing? I picked up a black pudding. Now, this is not a Cajun thing. I had never heard of black pudding before moving to the UK, but I came over here and I fell in love with it. I love it on my breakfast. But honestly, I've never tried to smoke it before. So I'm going to have a go and see how it does. I think the idea of a smoked black pudding sounds really nice. And finally, something that I don't use often, but I wanted to talk about because I know a lot of people just getting into barbecue, this will be how they start. I picked up a few seasoning packets from the butcher. Now, these are marinade seasonings. Basically, add water, mix them up, and put them on top of the meat. I do know that the barbecue chicken that I picked up, so this one here, that's actually, they marinate that in this smoky barbecue seasoning. So that's already what's been added to that. But there's a couple tricks that you can use with these other than just mixing them up the way they tell you to. So I'll be coming up with that in a future video as well. Yeah. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and start parceling this stuff out, getting it in the fridge and getting it out of the heat. And I will be back with you in a little bit for a bit of cooking. We might throw some steaks on the Ninja. All right, we are outside and I'm going to be cooking up a little bit of steak and chips. What I'm going to do though, because, well, I want to try something a bit new myself today, I'm going to use the Ninja on air fryer mode and we're going to try out some smoked chips. Here we go. Right, got some chips in the smoker, pellets in the smoke box. We're going to go ahead and flip it over to air fry, turn on the smoke, set it for 20 minutes. All right, now while those are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep the steaks. All right, for the second day in the row, unfortunately, we've gotten halfway through the video and my mic has died. Not sure if that is user error or mic battery or what's going on there, but unfortunately that means you are going to be stuck with voiceover me again for the rest of this video. So what I'm doing here is I've grabbed a couple sirloins out of the fridge from the local butcher and showing you there. They're nice sirloins, nothing too big, nothing too fancy, but they're a nice steak to cook on a weekday evening just for the heck of it. I'm going to do these two different ways. Now, the first one is going to get a generous dosing of salt. Do not skimp on the salt here, please. I know everyone's concerned about lowering their sodium content, but not when you're doing barbecue. And that's basically the same thing that I'm telling you here in the video that the audio didn't record. But you're going to always want to add more salt than you think you need. Hit both sides of it with that salt. And just make sure that you get a good, generous coating of salt all over that meat. It's going to draw out moisture. It's going to add flavor. It's just going to help all around. And then, although we don't need as much as we do with the salt, we want to go ahead and hit it with the pepper as well. Now, this is what I would just call a everyday standard steak cook. Salt, pepper, a little bit of smoke from the grill, and happy days. It's always going to taste good. It's not going to go wrong on you as long as you don't leave it on there too long and make it shoe leather. But there you go. That's steak number 1 done. Doesn't need anything more than that to be a good steak. Now then, for the second steak, I'm going to go ahead and reach for something which I am sure you've seen me use before. Yes, it is my unnameable because YouTube does not like its seasoning. Now, I get this stuff on Amazon here in the UK. It's not hard to get, it's not that expensive, and I would highly recommend if you are getting into barbecue and you are fairly new at it, especially, find a rub that you like and use it. Don't hesitate to do that. Don't think that there's anything wrong with using a store-bought rub. I certainly don't. I did my own stuff for years, and I don't see why I need to anymore. I've found one that I'm happy with. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a generous coating of this stuff on there. If you're doing a steak with flavor on it, you want to make sure you get that flavor. I'm going to go ahead and press that in a bit. The rub does not stick quite as well as salt does, so be aware of that. You notice some of it falls off there, and because it's good stuff and I don't want to waste it, I grab most of it and throw it back up there on that steak again. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more to the other side. There we go. Now then, the rub does have salt in it, but because I've told you already, salt is so important, I'm going to go ahead and hit this other piece of meat with a bit of salt as well. Rub that in a bit. Flip it over to the same to the other side. Give it that nice even coating again. And there we've got it. 2 steaks ready to go on the grill. One with a spice rub and one with basic salt and pepper. We'll throw those on the grill shortly. Alright, back over at the grill now, and we're going to go ahead and check on those chips. They've been in about 15 minutes at this point, and if you look at those, they look lovely and crispy. Unfortunately, the sound did not come through because right here I take a bite out of it, and I am convinced that you would have heard the crunch of that chip on the mic, and yet on the inside they are still soft and lovely. I'm going to go ahead and get those off the grill, and we'll throw the steaks on next. Alright, so we've jumped ahead here, and I've gone ahead and heated up the grill to a proper grilling temperature. Now this one's got a grill setting, so I just went with that. We're going to throw the salt and pepper there on the left. We're going to throw the spiced there on the right. And I've got the smoking function on the grill going, and we're going to close it up, and we are going to leave the grill for 3 to 4 minutes. No more than that. Just 3 or 4 minutes. And that's it. We'll be back then. Alright, we've given the grill about 3.5 minutes. We're going to come back. We're going to have a look. We're going to flip those steaks over. They've got a nice grill line on them already, and they are looking nice. I'm going to grab the temperature probe, and we are going to check the temperature. For a rare steak, you want it to be about 55 degrees C. Whenever I checked these here, they were actually just creeping up into medium. They were actually about 60 degrees, so this grill does cook a lot hotter and faster than I expected it to, and I am still getting used to it a bit, so they do go just a little bit over the rare that I was hoping for. That's alright though. My stepson was eating them with me, and I think he likes them a bit more well done than I do anyway. So we've got those off the grill, and we're going to head over to the table and check them out. Alright, back at our table now, and ready to cut into those steaks and see how they're doing. Now, unfortunately, the camera angle was not perfect here to get that cut. I am going to lift it up in a second and show you. I'm going to flip the other one over just so they're in the same angle, same direction, and go ahead and cut the end off of that as well. Yes, I lick my fingers. Deal with it. It's just well, it's me. So you can see there they have a nice pinkness to them. I would say they're closer to medium than they are to rare. But like I said, with the audience that I had tonight, That's probably for the best. But you can see that they are juicy there. They are lovely tasting. They got hit with a lot of smoke in a very short time, which I was very impressed with. And yeah, that is two very simple, very easy, very quick ways to do a steak. Now there are also wet marinades. There are dozens of rubs or spice blends that you use to season up your steak. But there we are. Two very simple ones. I'm going to go ahead and from here jump off, throw those on plates and eat them up. And from there we will catch you tomorrow, and hopefully you'll join us again. Drop any comments below if there's anything specific you want to see us cook, or if there are any questions you have about grilling or barbecuing that you want to ask.